Hey everyone, welcome to the Elite Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Popple, along with my co-host, William McClellan. How you doing today, Will?
Good, man. Super good. We are going live 2 times this week. Pretty sweet. So if you guys haven't been checking out the podcast, make sure you guys subscribe, check out our YouTube. Super excited about our guest today. If you guys are on Facebook right now, make sure you engage, ask our guest who we're about to introduce or Sim, either one, some live questions in the comments, and we'll definitely stop the interview if that's cool and answer those and get right back into it. So without further ado, Sam.
Yeah, so today we have my good friend Geoff Goodsell with us. He's a realtor based out of Florida Panhandle.
Heck of a realtor name.
Yeah,
right.
Goodsell is perfect. Yeah, he's an Air Force veteran, been active in real estate for the past 2 years, working with investors and buyers across all different property types. He was formerly with a financial analyst for Boeing and has an MBA, and now he's at AI. He runs AI and productivity classes for real estate agents and advises brokerages on integrating AI for their marketing and lead generation, which is the complete reason we had him on today to go in a deep dive with AI. So, man, Geoff, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so let's start with your background a little bit. You've gone from Air Force veteran to Boeing analyst to real estate agent. Walk us through how that journey went.
Yeah, we could start out with community college dropout.
Hey, look, we love a good story where someone didn't start off stellar and then the life just got better, because people relate to that. So yeah,
that's kind of where the Air Force journey began, right? And I remember when I first got orders to Eglin, I didn't know anything about Florida. Raised in the Pacific Northwest in Seattle.
Yeah, so, I was gonna say Washington, right?
Yeah. So when I first got orders to Eglin, I'm sitting here and I'm like looking at my dad. I'm like, man, it's gonna be like Miami. This is going to be awesome. I'm pumped, and I mean, I love it here, of course, but completely different expectation for 20-year-old Geoff.
Right.
Kind of a culture shock, to be honest with you. It was a lot different. When, coming down here, spending 4 years down here is just, it was a easy sell for me to stick around. So, once I finished my Air Force career, I went back to work for Boeing, working. Actually did move back up to Seattle for a couple of years. Worked on the assembly line, building the 777s.
Oh, wow.
The safe 777s. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And after about a year of that, I was a manufacturing engineer, and anyone who is involved with like the Navy, I was on the P-8, which is
cool.
a pretty cool, pretty neat airframe. If you are in Seattle, you go to the assembly line, they start out as a 737 base, and then they split off into 2 rows, and the P-8 goes down one way, the defense planes go down one way, and then the commercial 737s go down another way. So that was, that's kind of a neat little fact. But worked on the P-8 for a couple of years and then moved back down to Florida. Worked more defense jobs, got into finance. I got my master's in business and decided that I was a numbers guy, really. So did finance for Boeing, and then I was at Beast Code for a couple of years. And I know a lot of people in town have heard of Beast Code. They're an up-and-coming software engineering company. They're actually at the new Freedom Tech Center over there across from the golf course. So pretty exciting for them. But my passion lied in real estate. Every single day, Kelly sees me sitting there on whatever third-party website I'm on at the time, and she's like, why don't you just do this? 'Cause you're already on it all the time. So, I mean, you might as well, jump over, because I was looking for a change. So I did that. I worked under Joe Capillotti for a year at Coastal Realty Services, and what a fantastic mentor he was. He was the e-car president in 2023, and he's still heavily involved in a lot of stuff. And then I moved over to Coldwell Banker. I made a decision last year that I wanted to really tailor my education and background to commercial real estate. I felt like I could really serve the community really well in that aspect. So I moved. Coldwell has a RCC program. It's like a residential commercial program, so that you can kind of practice both, and they offer a lot of tools as well. So that Jennifer, working under Jennifer Wolf, who's awesome. She's great. She's like my hype man. So I don't know if a lot of y'all know like Vinny Cholk and Trey Elton, but I get to work with those guys every day.
His wife closed a number of properties for me over in Fort Walton, at a Dow and Ditmar. So
Felice, she's awesome. They're great. I love the closing agency. I've used them a few times as well.
Yeah.
So that's where I've been. That's kind of the journey there in 4 minutes.
No, man, that's awesome. Yeah, my dad was actually in Whidbey Island, and so I lived there for a while. So when you said you're on the P8s and everything outside of Seattle, definitely like Oak Harbor is just beautiful. Pacific Northwest is incredible. So
yeah. Okay, so I'm really from Bellingham. See, when I talk to someone who's lived in Washington, I'm like, okay, I'm actually not from Seattle. It's really Bellingham.
Yeah, no, sweet, man. Yeah, that's cool. Same type of thing. My dad got remarried and married someone in the Air Force who got stationed at Hobart, and so kind of been in some similar spots, similar bases. So that's pretty cool, man. I always like to start these and listen, just like what it was like when you were growing up, and then kind of understanding that this transition, which you gave such a great background, and you've been involved in so many different things, and obviously you're a catalyst in everything that you've been doing. But kind of something I always am interested in is like growing up. You had mentioned on here, community college dropout. Like, what was high school like? What was that transition? You had all of these great careers, and then what was really like, okay, real estate, let's do it.
Oh man. My hometown is kind of similar to the area in terms of how close the high schools are together. When you compare like Fort Walton, Choctaw, and Niceville, that's the three. I went to Squalicum High School, and then we had a Bellingham High School and a Seaholm High School. So when you go to the local community college, which in our case used to be Okaloosa Walton College, everyone in town goes to that school. Mm-hmm. So it's really hard. It was hard for me to transition from high school to college because I was with everyone from high school anyway. Sure. And I mean, my senior year of high school was all about everything other than school. So it was, and that just kind of carried over into community college there. And I did it for a year. And it just wasn't sticking for me at the time. And everyone kind of blooms in different areas of their life. And, after that first year, I had a real deep conversation with my family, and we made the decision, that the military would be a good opportunity for me to kind of have a fresh start. I hadn't fallen in too deep of a hole, but the military gave me an opportunity to do a fresh start, kind of cruise around, see some things, learn a new trade, and maybe learn some discipline. So that was really important.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like jet too far into this, but I am super excited to talk about AI, how you're using it, specifically for lead gen, and a couple things that we'll dive into, because we've kind of Sam and I, and we like to talk about it on here whenever we're just going back and forth and trying to keep some of the listeners up to date on what we're doing. But we've totally revamped like our marketing strategy, and there's a couple fun things. My last name's McClelland. It's not as good as Goodsell, but it does end LAND. So I'm trying to figure out a couple billboards to put up, like McClelland buys land, and just like highlight land right there. It's not as good as Goodsell, but it'll be fun. And there's a couple other real fun marketing things, and we've been teaming up really well, networking. Obviously the podcast helps a lot, but definitely want to expedite what we're doing. And I am excited to hear from the expert on how we can do that. Not only just generating leads on listings and sales, but also definitely finding maybe some off-market lots or even lots that are actually buildable that, maybe have expired listings and things like that. But since you teach the class, man, I'm all ears. Wherever you want to start.
Oh man, I have all right, fun story for AI. So I really got heavy into AI about a year and a half ago. When I was at Beast Code, I'm surrounded by software engineers, nerds, computer nerds, and there was already talk of Chat GPT and all the features that it had, and this was 2022, 2023, and so it had just started kind of picking up some steam, and that was my first exposure to it. When I moved over to real estate, I started using it a lot for, of course, like listing descriptions and stuff like that. But I noticed that there were some issues that came up when you attempted to create a listing description using AI. AI doesn't take a whole lot of things into consideration that are legal or like Fair Housing Act violations. We see that a lot. If you go on to MLS or you go on to any third-party website, you read that listing description, you're going to see a lot of Fair Housing Act violations. People just cut and paste right now. They're looking at AI as a shortcut instead of as a tool, as a productivity tool. They're looking at it as a shortcut. So they're just copying and pasting. And we're seeing, every time I get on MLS, I'm seeing things like enjoy this backyard with your children and your dogs, and you can run around with your two healthy legs and like it's obviously I'm over exaggerating there, but they try to teach you in your descriptions, right? And this will not to be exclusive, right? We have to be all inclusive and really to use broad language. And also when you see a listing description that has like 100 adjectives in it, then you also know that probably came from Chat GPT as well. So that's something that I first noticed about a year ago. And from then on, that was about the time where I decided I wanted to create a course for eCar so that I could talk to people about, what to do, what not to do, how to navigate it, other tools that they can use. For someone who uses AI every day, I still use Chat GPT. I think that's still one of the best AI tools out there. I pay for the premium version. It codes for me. So, and I'll get into that in a little bit when we get a little deeper, but I've got something pretty cool that I'm excited to share with you guys, and I'll just leave the cliffhanger there.
Okay. What are some of the most common tasks that you see agents wasting their time on that AI could immediately help them with?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. Well, CMAs, AI is there for CMAs. Now, with everything, you want to have quality checks.
Can I stop you for 1 second, just for the listeners maybe that are on live or will come in a few and that maybe aren't native to the Emerald Coast? Like you've mentioned eCar a couple times. So there's a couple. Like if we could just kind of break down some of the acronyms for some of the listeners and some of the people that are maybe out of state, and as well as we're going through this, because I think it's really gonna ramp up from here. So, yeah.
So eCar, right? Emerald Coast Association of Realtors.
Yeah, and so you built a course for them, and so exactly. So for anyone that's listening right now, if you're in the area, you don't have to be necessarily selling in Okaloosa or Walton or Santa Rosa. Like we could go over and take your course, or we can check.
And really, I'd be willing to share this course with anyone. They don't even have to be in Florida real estate. This course can apply to anyone. All 1.5 million realtors in the U.S. can use this course. And here's it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Will.
No, we got to get some action in whoever's watching this live. Like this is massive that he's willing to share these. And going back to what Sam asked, I'm sure that's what everyone's like ears are burning for. Is like, hey, what am I doing? this guy's the expert, and what am I doing that's, not wasteful time, but I could be using my time more wisely, and I could expedite a couple things maybe that are more mundane or maybe something that I need to just double check or enhance whatever I'm building out. Because like you said, you want to be all inclusive. You don't want to just type in something general, because AI is only as good as the prompt that you're giving it. And I think that's a big issue that people don't quite understand yet, that aren't using it every single day. So,
yeah, the key word there is prompt, right? And I tell people you treat AI like a 5-year-old genie, pretty much. You're gonna if you ask AI, to design you a car, it might design you like a Matchbox car or something, And so you got to be very specific, very intentional with what you're asking it to do. Back to the course, AI.
Yeah.
AI built that course for me too. So
that's incredible. That's incredible.
Just a little secret for everyone. This course that I give out, when I get to the last slide, I just tell everyone, I'm like, by the way, AI built this course. It laid out everything I needed to do. It generated all the images. It organized the PowerPoint presentation for me. It gave cliff notes for things that I should hit on at each slide, icebreakers. It designed the whole course. And that's another thing that can help brokers who are looking to do training for their teams. Like, you think about how long it would take to put a training course together. I went through the Learning Centers Instructors Workshop with Cynthia DeLuca. She's awesome. And that's for Florida realtors who want to become a Florida realtors instructor and, go to all the associations in the state and teach different classes. And she said that it could take her, a few weeks to develop a course, maybe even longer.
Sure.
And what I'm seeing now with AI is that I'm able to cut that time down considerably, because I'm just putting together the most work I'm putting in is the prompt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making sure the prompt is specific as possible. And then I hit enter, and it's like a crock pot. You set it and forget it. And you can come back and quality check it, obviously, and then you're good to go. And so that's pretty cool about that course. It's totally designed by AI, and that's not the only thing that AI that I've been working on for designing. I'm super excited about this, guy. So I'm just gonna jump into this.
Dude, do it. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm do
super pumped. Okay.
What your top things are before you're like, we're just 100% in. Like, what is going to be most beneficial if I'm a realtor or if I'm even a retail buyer that I could use AI for at a really high level that I'm using insufficient time in?
So you can use AI to build your own tools.
So cool.
CRM dashboards, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I went into
and for those that are listening, it's a customer relations management tool software. So something that you're going to kind of like a Salesforce. That's kind of more of a household name that people are used to, right?
Exactly.
If they're not a realtor or something like that. So something that's going to ting and say like, hey, I really need to call Geoff today because of XYZ. I need to talk to title. I need to talk to the survey company. I need to follow up here, where there's a ton of things that I think a lot of retail buyers don't actually realize. And then a lot of people that are new into real estate that are super excited, but have never maybe done a deal, and they're a new realtor going into a brokerage and not realizing everything that a transaction coordinator and all of the things that happen in the background. And like being able to have AI do that and create systems based off of whatever systems that you're putting in play with your brokerage or your team, et cetera, is just massive. So I can't wait for you to dive in. I'm not going to interrupt anymore, but
no, you're way good. You're way good. I love it. This is great. So after Sam and I talked for a hot minute on the phone last week, right? I'm sitting there, I'm at the condo, I'm laid back, and I'm sitting there on my computer, and I'm like, you know what? What's a a pain point. I'm talking to a realtor buddy of mine. I'm like, what's a pain point that you might have? And they're like, well, when I'm hosting an open house, not everyone signs in. And when they do sign in, it's on a piece of paper and it's just hard to keep track of all that. And I'm like, okay. So I go into AI and I'm like, hey, I want to build a software as a service, a SaaS. And so AI is like, let's do, it suggests things. And it's like, okay, Geoff, that's a great idea. Let's do a micro SaaS. So we're going to do something very small and manageable that one person could put together. And I said, okay, here's what I want you to do, Geoff. I want you to go to Glide. I want you to tell it what you want, because Glide has AI built in, and it's going to build an app for you. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I go into Glide and I'm like, hey, I want to start this thing called Open House Pro. And the way it's going to work is there's going to be 3 tabs. There's going to be a properties tab, a visitors tab, and then automated follow-ups. Okay. And then it's going to generate a QR code. So each agent will have their own dashboard. So they download this app to their phone, and they're going to host an open house. So they click this little plus button on the app, and they put the address in, all the info, and then it generates a QR code for them for their open house, so that when people come in, they just show them their phone with the QR code. Visitor scans the QR code, and then boom, they don't even need a sign-in sheet anymore. It just goes right to their app, and all the information gets uploaded to the app. And it's just, it'll be an easy way for agents to track people that are coming to their open house, and then of course to follow up with them as well. So that, I'll tell you right now, Glide made that app for me in 15 minutes. Which just sounds stupid, doesn't it? I mean, we're talking about 15 minutes to make an app that does a whole like CRM.
No, it's insane.
It's just incredible. And there's so many agents out there. I put feelers out there in some of the Facebook groups, and I'm like, hey, is this something that you think that you could use? And there's so many of them that are like, yes, I don't like the sign-in sheets. It's just not. I don't track it. If I'm walking around with someone else and then someone else comes in and all this and that, I want to have a way to be able to track all these people. So I'm working on that right now, but that is really exciting. But the coolest part about it is I don't know how to build apps or code or build software, but I'm in the process of completing this, and it's pretty incredible.
I'm
super pumped about it. And I when it's done, I'm going to share it with you guys. It's going to be really cool.
Oh yeah, I'm going to download it immediately, because that can be that's like 10 use cases off the top of my head that I'm thinking about.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, to your point, I mean, the QR codes for signing of anything is making everything much easier now, because, as you said, just trying to decipher people's handwriting on a sign-in sheet and add in their emails, and then even know if they even gave you an accurate one is a nightmare. I know, because we used to use old school sign-in sheets for trying to get people on our meal plan list for my Clean Eats restaurants, and then we switched over to QR codes a few years ago, just because it's nice and neat when it's all on the sheet, and then really easy to streamline all the email addresses, straight into a CRM. But it sounds like yours go already into it.
Oh yeah. Yep. And I'm going to work on something too, where I can integrate an AI chatbot into here too, so that when you get that automated follow-up, and if they respond right away, agents can have that built in, just to kind of weed out people who are like, maybe they're
tire kicking.
If you go onto like the Toyota website, a chat bot will pop up and talk to you and fill you out before you get connected to someone. So I'm working on ways as well to maybe get that integrated too. So we'll see, but super pumped about that. It's been fun. It's been fun to work with, and it's a lot of communication back and forth with the AI itself as well.
Sure.
But when it comes to that coding and that background, it's doing that for me.
Massive.
And on that, Brett, let's break that down just a little bit for someone who might be, a little bit completely new to AI. Maybe hasn't even really used ChatGPT so much, because having it code software, that sounds complicated. But then you just said that nothing about it and made it happen. What were some of those prompts and back and forth that you said, to ChatGPT to kind of get that accurate to come on out?
All right, I'm going to pull it up right now if I can find it here.
I love it. Or maybe that's what the course, you have to check out his course. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm definitely doing that. But I think right now he can definitely just give some practicality on like what are the prompts that to make someone realize how to be smarter with the prompt.
All right, you guys ready for this first prompt? Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
I saw a social media post that someone wrote, and they were like, "You can earn X dollar amount selling AI built software as a service apps." And and sometimes you'll see people and they'll throw a post up to get engagement. They don't really know, is that number legit? Who knows? But they're throwing this post up. And so what I did is I screenshot the post and then I uploaded it to my AI and I was like, "Hey, is this legit?" And it goes, "Here's a clear, honest assessment. The post claims you can make X dollars amount with Wi-Fi, a laptop, and then whatever app builder you're using. And then it goes, what's actually happening? This is a typical easy money with AI marketing hook. So it's pretty much it's like, hey, this is just a hook to pull you in and probably purchase their AI SaaS app builder."
Yeah.
And then it said, "Is it legit?" And it said parts may be legitimate. What to watch for: selling software as a service apps can be profitable, but requires what we would know: real marketing, customer support, product validation. And then it went on and said AI tools can help you build software as a service apps much faster, though. So I said, okay, talk to me more about SaaS. And so it explained what SaaS is. SaaS is a software as a service. You build software and deliver it online. Examples of SaaS is Slack, Canva. We all use Canva. QuickBooks Online, Calendly, even certain MLS search platforms. So it went through this whole thing, guys, and it was like, here's how SaaS makes money through subscription-based. You can do freemium models, usage-based billing, one-time purchases. It just goes on and on. The information's ridiculous. And then I said, okay, help me work through these one step at a time. And so I chose step one, pick a niche, and so for me, I said, let's do real estate. And then it basically, let's see here. It said, okay, step two. So step one, you picked real estate. Step two, let's identify pain points. And so now it's going through and it's like, here are the pain points that I'm seeing: lead management, CMA and valuation, investor tracking. Investors need to analyze. You guys will love this.
Yeah.
Investors need to analyze ROI, cash flow quickly on potential deals. I can build a SaaS to help them with that. Hard to track multiple properties' performance in one dashboard. Like, I could build a dashboard for an investor and they could upload all the properties they're interested in and track all their properties' performances so that they can make the best decision that they need to. Open house and showing management, which is what I went with for this one. I wanted to try to find something that was not super complicated, that I could kind of mess around with a little bit. Transaction coordination, which might be helpful for transaction coordinators for a dashboard for them to use. And then sponsorships, community outreach, that would be more for Emerald Coast Association realtors. So then it gives me a task, and then it gives me a recommendation for simplicity. So it wants me to develop an MVP, which stands for minimum viable product, basically just a single screen dashboard that I can send out to people for them to use. And so the back and forth I have with it, I told it I wanted to do the open house follow-up tool. It's like, all right, we're going to sketch this MVP. It just breaks the whole thing down. I say like 4 sentences and it gives me like a book, of information. It talked about having a landing page, which we know what a landing page is, but I wanted it to spell it out for me. So I was like, when you say landing page, what do you mean? Do you mean like a website page or a landing page on the app? And it's telling me like, you need to have a website landing page for your software and stuff like that. And it's helping me through like all these questions. I just have a question, I ask it, and then it answers it. I said, I have a website already, www.geoffgoodsell.com. And I said, would I be confusing people to add it as a web page on my current website. And it says it depends on your goals. So it goes back and forth. And it's like, it's not going to be confusing if you want it as an extension of your brand, but it would be confusing if your site is 100% focused on buyers and sellers, and then suddenly there's a tool for agents. So it's just like talking to a logical business partner.
Right. No, that's really interesting. So, and then how are you using the AI specifically to help you find better deals and some of those, like, for some of your commercial clients and things like that?
Super glad you asked me that question. So that's
what I'm excited about, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners are, especially like you had mentioned creating an investor dashboard. A lot of people that are listening or are listeners to the podcast are generally fix and flippers and wholesalers, and that's why we've had a number of those guests that kind of fit that niche. But we also try and get every facet of real estate, just because there's so much to it, and there's so many things from commercial to just land to new construction. The list goes on and on. But everyone is looking for a deal, right?
Yep.
And how to source one. Doesn't matter if you're just a traditional listing agent. You find listings, or even just work for a team, and then you're selling the listing that's at the brokerage. So
right. Well, going into utilizing AI to find commercial deals, from my perspective as someone looking for commercial investors, I went into AI. AI has something called ChatGPT prompts. So ChatGPT tasks. So you can put a prompt in and you can say, hey, once a week, I want you to send me this info based on the latest, that you see on the internet or the news or wherever. And what it's been doing is every week it searches for businesses expanding into the Southeast US and suggests companies to approach about leasing office space.
Wow.
It's doing that for me. Like, it just sent me, I got one today actually, and it gave me 6 businesses. It gave me Catalom Court out of Orlando, a defense sector firm, one of the largest office transactions in Orlando's Central Florida Research Park, expanding its footprint into Florida. Amazon is growing in Miami-Dade, Fort Lauderdale's office market, strong rent growth and demand for shorter-term leases in newer buildings. So it's going through key prospects to target, related Ross, suburban South Florida firms, stuff like that. And it's sending me all of these businesses basically on a weekly basis. Basically.
That's awesome. That's insane.
So, yeah. As far as identifying current deals, it will connect with most third-party platforms. Obviously, it doesn't have access directly to MLS, so somebody would, and also it's easier on the residential side because anyone like Zillow and everything's on there. On the commercial side, in order to see a lot of things like on Crexy or LoopNet, you have to be a member. You have to be a subscriber to be able to get that, and ChatGPT can't access those because unless you are a member or subscriber, you can't see it.
Yeah, so I did a fun little experiment, and I know you've probably dug way deeper than I have, but you can actually upload realtor.com, use the prompt and say, like, hey, I'm looking for vacant land that is expiring in 15 days. Also, that's a minimum of, we'll just use Escambia County because I did it this specific way. In Escambia County, that's low density and medium density and has X amount of road frontage. I put 60 feet and just arranged all of them. It was pretty sick.
That's pretty cool.
I was like, man, because you can go in Realtor's updated by the MLS, every 72 hours late at max, right? Mm-hmm. So you can kind of feed these tools, not necessarily needing the MLS or being one of the commercial, like you said, is a little different being a member, but it's like insane. And you can do homes.com, Zillow, things like that.
Yeah.
A little bit longer, but are there other types of use cases where you're kind of like, if you're helping a buyer search, like what, where you're using ChatGPT or AI specifically for, hey, I have a new first-time home buyer. You can't expose their credit score, but they have been pre-approved for X amount, and I think they would love 3-2 this and this, and create parameters, and then it's boom. I know you can do all the filters already in MLS, but it's like you can just type it all out, and then it creates a file, and you're like, export that to a Google Sheet to share, or put it into a Google Sheet that I'm also going to be sharing with X account and X email account, which goes to your clients. And it's like, how long did it take back, just a year or two ago to go in the MLS, make all the filters, put someone into a daily update of these, and then you're just like relying on this automated email, which a lot of people don't even look at, as opposed to, hey, this is exactly what you have. Here's a Google Sheet. If you have a Google account, I'm using Gemini as an example, and it's already done with the tools, with docs ready to go. It's so crazy.
It is.
I can't wait to check out your course too, because I'm already getting like fired up.
A fun use case I had out of it a couple months ago, selling a good friend of mine. He moved to Virginia, selling his house in Gulf Breeze, and he had a VA loan on it, and he had an assumable. He had a 2.25% interest rate.
Wow.
So
how was he selling it?
Do what?
I said, why was he selling it?
Oh, right. He's purchasing another house in Virginia, and so he had plans.
Yeah.
But he so he had a lot of equity built into that house.
Sure.
So that's the problem with VA assumables, where people are like, oh my gosh, I can assume this loan, and then they come to find out, oh, I need to put like $300,000 down to make up the difference. So with his bank was allowing a bridge, basically a bridge loan, or a
secondary mortgage.
Yeah, secondary mortgage. So I had some buyers, and they had some questions about that. And so what I did is I went to AI and I said, hey, break down what a mortgage payment will be based off of this interest rate and insurance, property taxes, et cetera. Break that down based off of a purchase price of $700K. Okay, now take that $700K, subtract $350,000 from that. We'll just say half, and then tell me what the 350 with 2.25 and the 350 with 7%. Tell me what the difference in payment will be for them. And so AI did that immediately for me, right? And we call that an AI use case. I could probably do that with a calculator, but if someone's out there and they're not like super math friendly, maybe it's just easier for them to type it in. So, and it did, and it actually broke down the math too. It showed me how it came up with the answer. It showed its work, which what teachers love.
Yeah,
there's so many people that would help.
Yeah, and it did, and it broke down the difference. And so I was able to show that to him. And I was like, okay, well, if you do the secondary mortgage as opposed to just doing a straight up mortgage for the whole balance, you're actually going to save like $900 a month.
Crazy
in mortgage. So that's a tool that agents can use to help educate their buyers.
Yeah.
No,
I think it's amazing. Can I ping your ear just as like a little golden nugget here of specific AI tools? Now you've mentioned ChatGPT that you were using, or are you really just like all in on ChatGPT?
I am.
Or then yes,
I'm like 80.
Do you use Claude? Do you use Poe? Do you use Gemini, or do you use Llama? Or I mean, there's so many right now. So
they're everywhere. So yeah, primarily I use ChatGPT, mostly because it knows me. It knows my tendencies. I've been using it for over a year now, and it remembers everything about me. I could go in here and be like, hey, write a paragraph about what you know about me and our interactions over the past year. I won't share that, but we'll. No. But secondary, I use Grok on X.com.
Okay. Yeah,
Grok's a good one. Although the past week Grok has had some things.
We'll pass over that right now.
There's a new Grok now. So check. So I want you guys to write this one down. This is a fun one, but agents can use this. It's called Suno, Suno, and it is AI music. So you will go into this app and you will say, I want you to create a song with country and I don't know. I'm just going to choose a pop
so
country.
funny. I literally just got a Google Drive to a listing, and I thought I was just listening to a country song. I've never even heard of it. And then I'm watching a video and a reel of all of these photos, and I was like, I messaged the person. It was actually someone that I knew that got the listing. And I said, who is your agent? And who was their photographer? What, this is so genius. I thought it was crazy. I thought I was just listening to a country song, like playing a video. And then I realized, I don't know if they used Suno specifically, but I was like, this is changing the game.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I'm watching a music video of your house, of your list. And it's a song that I've never heard before because they just created it. And it was catchy. So there's like no infringement rights or anything. It was like, it blew my mind.
You could open Suno up and you could like copy and paste your listing description into the app and say, write a song about my listing at this address, and it'll write a full song with multiple hooks and all sorts of stuff. It'll put the whole and you can put like what type of music you want it to be as well. And the vocals sound real, which is also kind of creepy.
Yeah, no, it was crazy because it was like same thing. It was like sitting in my tutu lake house, and it was like that was the listing description, and it was a lake house that was for sale in Arkansas. Actually, it was like a really remote lake house, and I was like, what song is this? And then I realized it was for the listing, and I was like, oh, I gotta figure this out. This is literally the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, Suno should be able to do that. I've messed with Perplexity a little bit with but Chat's deep research is I think just as good. Google Gemini, I don't know. I don't Google anything anymore. If I'm looking for info, I just open my app up and ask it. And I was actually having a conversation with someone about this the other day. Google, if you're on Netflix or Prime or wherever, Google's got ads out there now, more so than they have in the past. And I think they're feeling a little bit of the pinch from AI. People aren't Googling things anymore.
And I look at Google now as like, strictly when I need to find something or something local, because like outside of that, if I want information, and I want my information to be clean and not, marketed by the highest paying sponsored Google person, you have to go to AI because, I mean, Google's become such a great marketing source, but at the same time, that's almost been its detriment as well.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So I think Google Gemini, I haven't really dove into that a whole lot yet.
Yeah. Now, earlier you were talking a little bit about, some of the issues that can happen, when agents are using AI and AI only to create their listing descriptions and stuff. And then I know some agents use it, for social posts and newsletters. What are some good ways and what are some like basically how to do it and how not to do it to be safe? Because like you said, you have to, especially in the listing descriptions, make sure you're doing a description that limits anybody who might have a disability or something.
Yeah. Well, when I teach the course, I remind people you just can't. It's a great tool to use, but don't 100% trust it. And you need to quality check everything. You can't just blindly post everything. But there are things that you can also do, especially if, some people are on the go. They're on the go like so much that their brain is not capable of sitting there and going line by line. So you can download the Fair Housing Act and you can upload it to AI and you can sit here and you can be like, hey, remember this.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. Now, I think something that also is important is the prompt that you're giving it as well, right? Like you could incorporate, hey, make this listing description on this 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that was built in 2020, whatever we want to say. And remember, be all inclusive to any type of buyer, no matter whatever their financial situations are, whatever type of loan types we want this to be an open and eye-catching listing description, right? And then like the more that you're giving it, the less opportunity that it's going to have to make these types of errors. And I'm sure you teach that all throughout your course.
Oh yeah.
But I also just love like set it and forget it. Okay, like it's easy. I can download any type of public clauses from the state of Florida or in the U.S. Have it as a PDF. Tell ChatGPT to remember it, and then you're kind of flowing from there. Because I have to say, I did a little hack on my phone, and I used the action button on my iPhone, and I turned it to ChatGPT, and it automatically creates a talk, a generated talk, which is real easy because I can just go back and forth, and then it saves everything that I just said. And a lot of times I'm just doing tasks, like you said, not necessarily going until I can't slow down, but it's like so much easier. I have this on my mind. I'm thinking about it. I just use that action button. Boom, it's saved, and then I can check it later, and it's already gotten me a lot of answers that I was going to spend time in working on. So now I kind of want to go back a little bit, and if we're cutting in and cutting out, feel free just to flow with whatever works best for you. But I am really curious on how AI can be used for lead generation to see better conversion rates, and like how I can incorporate AI for outreach and follow-up. Of course, when I download your app, when it's created, I'm going to do that. But currently right now, what are some of those go-to tasks that you do that you've really seen like a huge uptick in?
Well, one thing that AI can help with would be like predictive analytics. You can upload data to predict which leads are most likely to convert based on past behaviors. So if you have soft leads or warm leads or cold leads as well, you can upload conversations you've had with them as well to and you can say, hey, where is this going? How can I take this conversation that I've had with them and help convert this into an actual client, basically? And that can help anyone with sales and any sales industry.
I love that. I'm literally writing that down right now. Like take a high level conversation of what I was talking with even a cold or a warm lead, and make me a better salesperson. Why wouldn't I do that?
Yeah. Well, so and to kind of piggyback off of that a little bit, to be a better salesperson, you can use AI to train yourself. And I did this at our Coldwell office in Fort Walton. We went through a role-playing scenario, okay? So I went into the tool and I said, hey, I am a listing agent and you are a seller. I'm going to try to solicit my services to list your house. We're calling this a listing appointment. And I want you to act as the seller. And here is a background on you. It's just you and your spouse, your kids have moved out of the house, you're looking to downsize. You're strict on who you want to use as your listing agent. So let's set the difficulty rating to like an 8 out of 10. So now it's judging every response. And so now what we're doing is we're going through and we're basically having a conversation back and forth. And AI does have a voiceover, like you can talk, it'll talk back to you, you can talk to it. So you can actually practice speaking. But for this practice, what we did is we just went back and forth on the chat. And it comes back and it says, this is what we're looking to get $500,000 for our house. What's the market show? And then I respond right away. And I'm like, well, I've done a market of, a CMA on your house, and this is what the market values it at 475. So 475, and then the seller comes back and says, well, we need 500. And so it tests you on your ability to have that conversation with them. And that is a difficult conversation to have with a seller that has expectations that are above what the market's able to provide. So it'll go back and forth, right? So we did this in the office, and then at the very end, it graded me. And so it said, okay, here's things that you did well in this role playing scenario. And then here's things that you should work on to get better at when you're communicating. And so it's really a communicating role playing scenario. It's incredible.
That's
It
insane.
graded me. It also said,
Were you an A student?
for this one, I can't remember. We all did it together. I allowed everyone to respond together. I can't remember what the grade was. I don't think that. So it criticized me in the
Hey,
fact
Jeff, as a former B student, I know it wasn't an A when you said that. All right, no,
you know what though? B is above average, right? B is average. B is above average. I will tell you though that I didn't set that second appointment, and it provided that critique on me, and it said, "Hey, you had an opportunity here to set a second appointment with me, which is very important for you to capture this lead as a client, and you didn't get that. So you need to make sure that you do that in the future." It also broke down and it said, "Hey, I provided this opening to you. I talked more about my family, and you continued to move on with the business. So you didn't get that connection with me that would have been that would have allowed me to want to relate with you and do business with you." Because in residential, right? Residential people purchase with their hearts. Commercial, they purchase with their brains, right? That's the breakdown of it. And so this was a residential role playing scenario, and so it does that too. It throws little not Easter eggs, but it throws little
nuances. Like I love that nuance of like, since you're residential, because I would have failed on that probably, because I'm so business and commercial that, you know, I can pass right by the pleasantries and get straight to talking numbers and be completely fine. And so I know it would have kicked it back at me like, hey, dude, you need to be a little more polite and care about what they actually got going on a little more. But that's amazing nuance, because since you knew it was residential, it gave you that feedback and puts you in check, which, I mean, I think, like I said, that's just phenomenal feedback.
It is. It's training, you know, and the more you train, the better you become at your trade, and the more successful you become. But also, you know, as an investor, there are role playing scenarios that you can run through, and you can let's see here. We could get into this. You can upload financial hypotheticals. Like here's what I've got. Here's what I can use. And then let's go through a scenario where I'm working with, you know, a property that I want to invest in. And so let's go back and forth with that. And that can kind of help you also become a better investor. It's not necessarily lead gen, but role playing is huge, and AI can definitely do that.
No, it's humongous. I was actually literally about to ask, like, since you already are working with investors, you know, what types of tools and how are you using AI to run better numbers for these investors specifically, and like finding off market opportunities and other types of things. I think that is just massive, because earlier in here you said that you created an investor dashboard, right? And that was just open by, hey, what's the top SaaS type of business that I can build out in real estate? And then, you know, an investor dashboard is something that I think all of us could use. Like even open, like creating a budget in my own household. Like I've used AI for that. So you kind of, you know, just got us at the tip of the iceberg right there of how you're using it. Can you dial in a little bit deeper of maybe putting those financial, let's just say a full budget. Like, let's say we have a budget, we talk to our contractor, this is the purchase price from a wholesaler, or it might be on the MLS, and how we can maybe save money or give a better product at a lower cost, and what would be in this zip code and on this street, if I do X, Y, and Z, and I have this much budget, how many days is it going to take to sell on average in this market? You know, like, what all are you doing way past that to help some of your investors? And for me, selfishly, what could I be doing? Of course, I'm going to check out your course, and once you tell everybody how to access it. But like, I'm curious on what you're doing right now to help investors, and kind of trying to find a couple little hidden prompts And are
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
to help you with prompts too?
Do what?
And then are you also asking AI to help you with prompts when you're coming up with problems?
Yeah, absolutely. I ask AI, hey, what prompts what are the best prompts that I could give you to get the best answer out of you?
I love it.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, that's a question that not a lot of people are asking that they should be.
Right.
I mean, it's gonna answer that exactly how you want it to as well. It's gonna give you exactly the exact prompts that it needs. But as far as commercial goes, I do have a use case here. We had an apartment complex that we were looking at, and I took the rent roll, the income statement, even the brochure, and I uploaded all of that to ChatGPT. And I said, hey, and I'm reading it right now because I already had it pulled up. As soon as you started talking, I had it pulled. I got all my history on here, Will. So
yeah, I love it. I love it.
these 3 documents are in reference to this multifamily property for sale. Act as an experience. I'm telling it what I want it to be. So now I'm like, act as an experienced commercial agent and analyze the investment potential for a multifamily property investor. And so it responds right away. And it's like, here's an in-depth investment analysis for this 55-unit complex using the provided brochure, rent roll, and income expenses. And it broke down the asking price, the number of units, the occupancy rate, which was 95%, pretty good. Analyzed the cap rate and the net operating income for 2024. And then I also told it that there was a loan assumption available, like a 3.5% fixed with 7 years remaining. And so then it went through and it had a whole financial breakdown here. Total income, primary income source. It just kind of summarized the documents, right? And then it provided a unit mix analysis. So like the 1 bed, 1 bath, what was the average rent, the rent per square foot, percent total of the complex as well. And it broke it down on all that. And then the next part of it was the financing opportunity. So it said, is this value add or stabilized? And it says for stabilized, it's 94.5% occupancy, modern renovations, and professional management suggest low operation risk. Value add potential, increasing the under market rents in some of the 1-bedroom units, converting the office unit because it's currently non-income producing. So there's value add there. And then there were 3 vacant units. If you can fill those, there's value opportunity there. I'm sorry. And then the last thing I'll touch on is it gave me a simple investment return scenario that I could provide to the investor. Assuming a purchase with 20% down and no loan assumption, it gave me, to provide, hey, this is what your down payment would be, your annual net operating income, your cash on cash unleveraged would be 6.8%. And then your cash on cash leveraged, assuming when I did this at the time, I think we did 6.5%, likely closer to 9 to 11% cash on cash, depending on debt structure. So it provides that. And so then I was like, okay, cool. Can you break this down into an email so that I can and break this down in an email for me to send this to my investor? And it did. It basically compartmentalized everything into condensed everything into an email, and it was very easy for me to use. And this took me 5 minutes to do, and it's pretty impressive. Now, how it can break down the numbers, and you can provide any type of scenario. Your investor comes back and says, hey, I only have 1.2 million cash that I can put down on this property, so we need to go with that number moving forward. How can we structure the deal to make it work?
I love that for deal analysis. Now, can AI help you avoid bad deals, or is it more of a tool just to streamline the process after you already know exactly what you want?
Oh, it'll tell me if it's a bad deal for sure. it'll be like, hey, you're not gonna. It has told me before, based off of the numbers that I provided it. It has said, hey, your client's barely gonna break even. I think the other one was for a condo. So obviously, yeah, but your client might barely break even. We didn't do it. We moved on to something else. So and that gives me an opportunity as well to build trust in the client. instead of,
Totally.
I mean, you'll see a typical agent out there, and they're trying to sell the property, and they're trying to get a deal done, and so they might push a client into a bad position, unknowingly maybe, right? Well, this gives you an opportunity to be like, hey, this is not a good position for you to be in. Let's hold off and wait for a better opportunity. If a client hears an agent telling them that, where an agent is supposed to be selling them a home, you're building that trust with that client. Now they're like, oh my gosh, this person.
And especially in commercial real estate, it's all about the long game, because like, it's usually the people that do commercial, it's deal after deal. So, I mean, that is how you build trust, is making them shy away for it. But I think Will had a question for you.
Yep.
I mean, I'm taking this at face value here, and I'm trying to really understand, going back to just the traditional buyer. Let's say the people that are scouring Zillow and Realtor.com. Do you think there's a point that's coming up in the very near future? Like, obviously the example you just said, like pushing them in an incorrect purchase, it might not even be on purpose. Hopefully it's not, because if it is, that's unethical. But do you think there's going to be, like, in the near future, something where an agent would be required to put parameters, and there's just a third party AI through the MLS that's like divulging the deal based off of that person and what they're willing to spend? Or really, is it going to always be sales? Like, whatever an end buyer is willing to purchase something for is what it's worth?
That's a good question.
Because for me, if I'm at the highest level and part of the National Realtors Association, I would be having these questions, saying like, every deal should be analyzed based, because we don't want a whole bunch of bad loans written. We don't want a whole bunch of defaults. We don't want another 08 to happen, and we have the tools right now that can automate all of this within 5 minutes to make the best choice for your client. I mean, maybe that's just me.
I mean, no,
that's too deep, but I feel like that should be talked about, at least.
It should be, and if you're a lender and you're watching this video, you should be using AI to analyze every deal that you're doing. So
yeah, you can put together a PITI like instantaneously for someone, right? And that's
right.
Something that's taken a bank, and they're always like, oh, I got to get all your documents. I got to do this, and it's going to take us 48 hours to get back to you. Then we got to get all these other documents. Like, imagine if you're on the phone talking to someone, and then you're doing it instantly, and you're just like, oh, they collected everything from me, and now they're getting everything back to me, like, on the same call.
Right.
Like, it's not it's like we're back in the height of 2020, 2021, 2022, when it was taking 45, 60 days to close a loan, because it's like stacked like crazy, right?
Yeah, and documents are already digital, right? So
exactly,
you can upload everything and have it analyzed instantaneously. So we should be seeing quick. I think that over the next couple of years, we're going to be seeing quicker 30-day closings are going to be considered long, in my opinion. I think that we're going to see quicker closings.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. And as I don't know, just for fun, like, the next 5 years in the industry, like, as AI is more adopted, where do you think this is going? Obviously, those who aren't adopting it are just going to, and there's going to be cases where things move slow, but I'm thinking like you said, 30 days is going to be a long time closing. If you're not adding these tools to your team or to your brokerage, I mean,
you're behind.
I can close in 18 days with these guys. I need you to represent me. Right.
So I have this chart in my training, right? So it's an image I saw, right? So people think that AI is progressing linear, like just like this. Sure. And really it's actually like this.
Right.
Right. And we're actually, we're getting into it. We're like right here. So it's blowing up at an exponential rate, even more than social media did. And social media, has only been around for, let's see, what was 20 years or so. And look how far we've come in just 20 years.
Oh, man.
Really, the boom has been over the last decade. But
I like that use case there, because I think there's a lot of things that people aren't aware of. Like, AI is okay, that's probably household now. But how many people know what AGI is? And how many people know what ASI is? Like artificial super intelligence, which is like, we have it. And maybe people who are on Facebook right now watching this or whenever they listen to it, that they already know about it. I've been researching it just because I'm like, oh my gosh, there is so much stuff and so much access that we are not privy to knowing, but we could use it right this second. And it's like, it's not just moving up and to the right, or like how you want your long-term investments to go and move up 5% over your lifetime. Like this is going up and down, just like you're saying, straight vertical very soon. So I'm
absolutely
super excited to take your course, man. Like, remind me again how long your course is and how I can access it and everybody.
It's not readily available yet. So when I first developed the course, I was taking it directly to the Emerald Coast Association of Realtors offices.
Super cool of you to do that.
It was designed to be about 90 minutes, and it was interactive as well. And what I've been doing is I'm going to brokerages and just offering it to them basically, for free, just sitting with them and talking with them about it. And I just want to spread. At this point, I just want to spread awareness. I'm not trying to capitalize off AI right now. I'm just trying to help all of our local agents become better at what they're doing. So
that helps the market at whole. Like if I'm coming to Emerald Coast, and let's take your example. You're from Seattle. You come here and you're like, man, every realtor here is extremely knowledgeable about the area, and I feel really comfortable with any person that I'm using. Well, eventually that's going to, depending on the person, it's going to make them look at real estate way more often than just how we, at least for me, maybe Sam too, like we grew up, our parents, they bought one house and they lived in it the whole time. Now I moved around because of the military, but like that was kind of the idea. It's like you bought it, you paid it off, that was it. But now you have a way where you're building this community and of realtors to really enhance the level for the customer.
Exactly.
And that's what it should be about.
Yep, agreed.
That's awesome.
One thing that you reminded me about when you brought up ASI is how close we're getting to singularity, right?
Yeah.
Where AI has exceeded human intelligence.
Yeah, it's kind of.
It is, and we've got a lot of science fiction fans out there. I made a little joke about this in the training. I was like, look, it might happen one day. Maybe AI comes for us, but if they're coming for me, then I'm going to be using AI to get my house on Country Club or something, and they can come at me on my fortress.
Now, what are some myths or misconceptions about AI and real estate that you think need to be cleared up?
Ooh, let's see here. I'm looking at my notes. AI can help you be a better agent. It can. Well, let's see here. Let me rephrase that. AI is not going to replace real estate agents. That's a big one. Real estate agents who use AI might replace real estate agents. And there may be a few real estate agents listening to this podcast right now that are mad at me for saying that. But it's the truth.
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
15 years ago, let's say 10 years ago. 10 years ago, if you could see in the future and you could see how big social media was right now, you would be building your business through social media right now. And right now, the agents that started that 10 years ago, they're so far ahead of all of us. I mean, I didn't build my business 10 years ago on social media. And so it's
biggest regret is I didn't open up an Instagram account the day they put Instagram out. I was really late to the punch.
Yep, I'm not a content creator, and I'm happy with my 2,500 followers, but it's still like, I mean, that's the big thing. AI is not going to replace a job, but the people who use AI, they might replace the people who don't use AI, and that's, I mean, we don't see real estate agents still using paper contracts. So
can we bring them back?
Do what?
I'm just kidding. I said, can we bring him back?
Yeah. AI cannot perfectly predict home prices. It's just that, and some people, think that AI is going to be able to narrow that down, but now what you can do is you can take your comps, upload all the data from your comps, and it can help provide and you should be providing a range anyway when you provide a comp, and it can help you provide that range, but it's not going to be perfect.
Sure. I really like how you said that there. Agents that use AI can or will replace agents that do not use AI, right? Like, I think that's a really important statement there, and your example of social media, I think, is parallel and perfect for what's going to happen. But I think it's instead of the 20-year or 10-year span, I think it's going to be like way more constrained. Yeah.
Under 5.
Yeah. It's going to be so fast, and a lot of people don't realize that. But when I go to a brokerage or when I teach the course and I ask people to raise their hand how often they use AI, 25% of the class raises their hand, and it still blows me away. There's some people who are like, "How do I log into ChatGPT?" Because I'm doing a scenario in the class, like, "Hey, log into it and try to have it search for you and tell us something about you." And some people are like, "How do I get to it?" And I'm like, "Oh man, now's the time." I mean, you're
at least they're at the course, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and just to add that in for anyone who's feeling discouraged, don't be afraid to get in that room with Geoff, because the people that are in that room, that 75% that's in the room that didn't know how to log in, those people are still going to be better off than all the agents that are still at home that are still not even opening up. So, I mean, I do want to make that plug for Geoff whenever he is putting a course on, that you should go, especially if you knew nothing. If you're one of those people that fall in the category that you don't know how to log in, Geoff Goodsell is here to help you.
That's a great point. I mean, everyone's got to start somewhere. And if you start, you're already ahead of someone who's not starting. So
exactly.
Totally. And I was actually about to say, for those agents or just listeners that are on right now, brokers, investors, loan officers, etc., like, who want to integrate AI but don't know where to start outside of your course, what's that first step they should take?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
For anyone that's listening that wants to integrate AI, but maybe can't attend your course, like, what's that first step that they should take? Obviously, moving past logging into ChatGPT.
You get in there and just honestly, usually what happens is people already have a use case when they already have something. They already have a problem that they're dealing with. Like, hey, I don't know how to market this property. Mm-hmm. So just log in and start talking to it. Honestly, and I'm just going to use ChatGPT as the example here. Log in there and talk to it as if you're talking to your broker. And just and go in there and just be like, hey, here's my property. Upload pictures. Put in the property address. Hey, help me figure out ways to market this property. I'm stuck. I need help. And it'll have a full conversation with you. I don't know how to go into it and be like, I don't know how to communicate with you.
I think that's a perfect starting point. Right. I love it.
Yeah. Here, you know what? I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it right now.
I was about to say, I'm going to do that. I was literally getting on my phone. I was like, I'm going to do that right now. We can do it live. I want you to do it. That's awesome.
Okay. Here's what I said. If I don't know how to communicate with you, what would you say? And it says, I'd say, don't worry. Just talk to me like you would a helpful, knowledgeable friend. You don't need perfect grammar or fancy phrasing. Just tell me what you're thinking, what you're trying to do, what you're curious about, and I'll help from there. If you're ever stuck, you can try starting with, quote, can you help me with, quote, I'm trying to figure out, quote, what does it mean when, quote, can you explain, quote, write this like a text, email, social media post, or even just say, I don't know how to ask this, but, and I'll help shape it into the right question. Like it's you can communicate to it like you're talking to a person, and who's more knowledgeable than you are, and it'll help you. It's patient. It is a patient mentor, is what it is. It's everything that you want it to be. It gives me, it's weird, but it gives me words of affirmation sometimes. Okay. So if I'm working through, like when I was working on the app and I was like, you know what, I think I want to do this. Like I will brainstorm with it. You can brainstorm with AI and it'll help and it'll go through everything with you. And so I'm brainstorming this open house app and I was like, hey, I think I want to do this. And it comes back and he goes, wow, Geoff, that's a great idea. And I'm like, thanks. Wow, you're such a great business partner you are. Just I feel that. Thank you very much, Mr. AI.
No one loves me but ChatGPT.
I know, right? I know.
I'm just so excited. This is like really jazzed me up. I hope a whole bunch of people got a lot out of this. Geoff, did you have any comments on your feed? And Sam, did you have any comments on your feed? Maybe we should answer some questions.
There's no comments.
Nah, it's fine.
I'm a little surprised. I've got some followers who love to chime in and say some things. Most who like to just kind of rib at me a little bit, but
I think everyone's listening. I mean, I took like a ton of pages of notes. So like, I'm super excited. I think that that this is really we're at the ground floor, like you said. It's about to be a necessity, and I'm fine with saying that. Like,
right.
I know that it doesn't have to be a necessity, but it's going to be in the less than 1% where you're going to be able to be as aggressive and be as helpful. And
I'll go and say I think it has to be a necessity. Like I feel like that you're going to be left so far behind if you don't jump into AI. I just don't know if someone without it will be able to keep up, especially when you start thinking about the compounding effect 5, 10, 20 years out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you're not on AI now, you need to start today.
Yep. It's not even just sales. It's not even just people in sales. Sometimes I like to substitute in my free time at my daughter's school.
Uh-huh.
And I have a fun fact. I have a teaching certification for the state of Florida in math for grades 6 to 12. I've substituted at her school for math, and there was a day that I was there, and there was a couple things that I was having trouble articulating to the class. So I opened up chat and I said, hey, here's what we're working on right now. Can you provide me with a couple of examples on how I can help the class relate to this material? Teachers can do that. And I think there's a lot of teachers out there who are, but they can do that in a way where it's like, hey, I'm teaching a 5th grade class and they're having trouble with algebra. And I want them to be able to relate well to this material. What are some ideas that you could throw at me? And it boom, right away.
I love that.
I think we kind of missed out on something that's really critical that I was kind of tooling around with, is how you can tell ChatGPT how you want the information to be relayed to you or to whomever. Like, let's go back to first-time homebuyer, someone that has never bought a house before. This is their first deal, first transaction. What is XYZ on, to give them as really a footprint of how this process is going to be? Because I remember when I bought my first house, I was like slightly frustrated, and I was like, where's this timeline? Why is it taking so long? I'm really excited. And there's ways to mitigate that. And you could even do it as couple is, or buyer is, this age, this generation. How do I communicate? Because like, there's a lot of slang that I really don't know. But if you threw that into an email because you're working with someone that's outside of your generation, doesn't matter older or younger.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh wow, this is a really interesting email. This is really cool. I just got from this guy or lady, and I'm like, I just met this realtor. This seems super cool. Or like kind of having a candid conversation in something, in a way that I feel comfortable with. And so, because I think that's also something that's missed a lot. As a realtor, you're spending a lot of one-on-one time, not necessarily in person, but on the phone, and you're talking to their client for 30, 45, 60 days. That's a big portion of the year for one of their biggest purchases in their entire life.
Right.
So they're holding a lot of merit with you. And if there's a better way to communicate with them, if you're dealing with someone who's bought 10 houses and they just moved here and you are going to represent them and they're a savvy investor and they're always dressed business formal, you could formalize all of your emails in that communication. Like one time it was kind of funny. It was like, explain this to me as if I was 18 years old and a freshman in college. And then I took that same prompt and I said, explain it to me just how I use Gemini on how I normally talk to it. Same information, two totally different ways.
Right.
Across. Two totally different ways. And I was like reading the one of like a freshman in college trying to buy their first house versus how I normally talk to it. And I was like, I don't even really know what some of these terms mean. I'm like, I really felt kind of old. I was like, what are these words?
No cap
at all. But anyway, no, I thought that's actually a really good way to kind of wrap up this episode is how you can actually articulate towards the person to build rapport instantaneously, which for me, there's just my character going outside of that and trying to, I always try and relate to people, but not necessarily in the same age demographic and or our linguistics, right? So being able to have AI do that for me outside of everything that you've listed off is just like one step cooler. I thought that was just so cool.
I mean, matching communication styles is extremely important in lead conversion.
100%. Geoff, this was great. I actually think that we probably need to have you back on in about 6 months, probably schedule like a January episode, just because I know AI is going to advance so much. And I want to hear after you've launched that course, because I know there's going to be a 2.0 coming. Like I know that's just going to be the first course. So I want to see what else you develop. So definitely plan on coming back. But man, this has been a privilege. I know you represent buyers across the Emerald Coast, and you're also help people find commercial deals. Where can people get a hold of you, find you, learn more about you so they can work with you?
They can go to my website, www.geoffgoodsell.com, Geoff with a G. They can find me on Facebook, and I'm local here in Coldwell, so they can find me at Publix as well if they want.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You can find me at Publix.
Yeah, exactly. The course, I'm going to finish some things up with that course, and I'm going to upload that. I have for agents out there, I have a new tab, a new portion of my website called Agent Tools. And there's going to be a training portion of that where I'm going to upload certain training programs, beginners AI, advanced AI tools, stuff like that. And then I'll also have, hopefully when I finish this app here soon, I'm going to have that up there so people can sign up and start using that as well.
Man, that's awesome. And then anybody listening, we appreciate everyone tuning into the Elite Real Estate Podcast. Check out our YouTube page, the Elite Real Estate Podcast on YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button. Really trying to build up those followers. And then, Will, where can people go if they want to bring us a land deal?
Yeah, feel free to shoot us a message, a text, a call, or just go to eliterealestatepodcast.com, or you can hop on any episode, comment in any of them on our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, just like Sam said. And we look forward to seeing you. And right now, hey, please tell Geoff Goodsell from Fort Walton Beach, Florida, how much we appreciated him for being on the podcast today. And please let every listener visit geoffgoodsell.com. And man, I just am so excited. I learned so much about AI today, and I can't wait to do his course.
It sounds like you had a great experience with Geoff Goodsell on the podcast. I'm glad you found the discussion about AI helpful. If you want to share your appreciation with Geoff or let others know about his course, visiting his website is a great idea. Enjoy your learning journey.
I think with that, we'll close on out. So we'll see everyone next week on the Elite Real Estate Podcast. And we appreciate everyone for tuning in. Check out geoffgoodsell.com and please go and work with him. He's a great guy to work with.
Thanks. I appreciate you, fellas.
That was awesome. Thanks.